Well. Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the attacking third. And of course, we have a huge show in front of you guys, even though the Philadelphia Union didn't play at all. But however, there has been playoff scenarios that has infected this team. Last week, Steve, you and I, and good morning, Steve Fuentes, my right-hand man as always. Steve, when I looked at this Philadelphia Union team, last week we were talking about this playoff scenarios, and we're talking about three teams that could possibly be in the Philadelphia Union way. We were talking about Atlanta, Toronto, Montreal. But however, there has been another team that has entered the fray. DC entirely hasn't had nothing much to cheer for. However, they now have a soccer team that's come out of the woodworks and put themselves on the map. Matter of fact, they leapfrogged into that last playoff spot, which bumped down Atlanta to the 10th and bumped us down to the 11th. I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling good. I put the Twitter poll out there, and guys, you have time to weigh in if you go on my Twitter page, Pat from Ambler, go weigh in. I asked a big question here. I asked, can the Philadelphia Union, even though they got a gauntlet-like schedule, can they make the jump? And the fan base at 50% some are saying yes, and some are saying no. I mean, if you want to, I like for this team to make the playoffs, obviously. But do you think, Steve, this team can make it?
I do. I think it's going to be a hard path, and it's going to be difficult for the way they've kind of been playing as of late to get there. But there's definitely hope. With Andre Blake back, you get some of the leadership for some of these young guys back there, and you never know. But like you mentioned, a lot of these other teams are in the same situation that the Union are, and so they themselves are feeling that dog in them in that dog fight every single game. From 9th place down to 15th is a playoff game for every single, and we're going up against DC United, who's one of those teams, Atlanta, who's one of those teams, and it's going to be tough. But I feel better as long as Blake is there and healthy. I like their chances. They're a playoff team with him, right?
Yes, they are a playoff team. Into next week, he's going to get the challenge of a lifetime. However, let's get into some of these comments here. Frankie, good morning to you, sir. I feel like I haven't been to a Union game over a month. I need it. Absolutely. You and me both, brother. Listen, I need it. I need the Subaru Park feeling again. Daniel Barrett checking in, says, morning you, sir. He says, what are the chances the Union make the playoffs? Can they do it? Well, that's what we're talking about here, Frank. Can this Union team make a run? Like Steve just said, with Andre Blake in between the pipes, I feel really good. The last time the Philadelphia Union played, matter of fact, the pipes did help them out get that win. But yeah, I definitely feel really, really good about the Philadelphia Union making chances, even though this schedule is tough. It's tough for the Philadelphia Union. I mean, listen, it's not going to be no day at the beach. I mean, you got Miami coming up, you got NYFC FC, DC, Atlanta, Orlando, Crew, and of course Cincy to finish it out. So I mean, like I just mentioned, with DC enter the fray. I mean, me and Steve were just talking before air with Montreal. I know they've been getting their doors blown off the hinges, but if they could somehow get hot, they got the easiest power schedule here. I mean, Charlotte, New England, Chicago, San Jose, Atlanta, Charlotte again, and then finish out with New York. So, I mean, they really could do some things here. He also says Blake is coming. Blake is becoming an absolute difference maker just being on the field. His first game back was a huge win with the club. Just seeing get more motivated. When his he has been a playmaker. He has been. This is the reason why they're back in the hunt. I mean, without him, you saw where this team's at. This team is a bottom feeder at best. You see they hit rock bottom after that loss to Chicago somewhere mid in the summer. This team, you've seen it. Their own diehard fan base was making fun of this team. So they listen. A month ago, they are in a lot more better position where they're at now. So, Frank also says good point with the Blake on Blake talk. Steve, yeah, Steve's on his A game as always. Dave Yarnold, my main man. Good morning, sir. He says go
Morning,
Union.
Dave.
So,
and just so everyone watching knows too, Frankie Nodeek is actually Frankie James, the newest member of EOP. So make sure you guys go out and follow Frankie's page and everything he's getting ready to do for EOP. He's very, very, very talented. He's going to be the photographer, and he's going to be hopping on, I think, doing the lot of the Flyers content. Yep. So
I can't wait to talk about that.
One other thing that they can do that for this stretch heading into the playoffs. So Ty Baribo, right? He's going to fall off. He's not going to be able to continue this hot streak, right? That he's been on for the duration, right? It's going to have to fall off, right? So I looked up some numbers, right? He has scored 7 goals in only 819 minutes and 14 games in MLS, right?
Right.
Where Ua has the same amount of goals as Baribo, but has played in 23 games and has 1,481 minutes. So Ty has come in and given you the same production in 9 less games and almost 600 less minutes. So Ua has slowly started to game by game play better. I like what he did Leagues Cup. I really like what he's done since Baribo has stepped into the full-time role as his counterpart over there in the other striker position. If Ua can continue this and play at a level that everyone thinks he can, and that what he was sent here for, those two together, I like them better than I liked Ua and Carranza together. I like the Baribo and Ua connection up top. And if Ua can give you this production and this outcome and these goals, and he himself is playing a lot longer than what he used to. He was at 60-minute, boom, sub out. Now he's getting up into the 70-minute mark, and before Sam comes in or they slide Sullivan down there. So he is another person that if he can play to his capability offensively, they can compete and play with any of these top scorers like Columbus, Cincinnati, and we're going to talk about him later, and Miami. So Ua's the other guy who I'm watching.
Steve, you know what? You bring a good point about Ua, right? I look at him to be your X factor into all this. He is, like you said, all eyes on Ty Baribo right now because of the summer he's having or had. But however, his counter partner might be. We all know Dan Gaza can handle his own, especially when it comes to penalty kick. But like you said, to me, Ua's your X factor of the season. I mean, if he could get hot, he gets a couple open looks, and that can because of Sullivan, again stretching the field. However, if he's going to be your key X factor and finding the back of net as well, this team is dangerous. This team can be very well dangerous. I mean, 7 goals with him right now. 7 goals. I mean, he's reached it. If he could be a little bit more consistent with his play, find the back of the net, then yes, this team is dangerous. I mean, this team, when you look at your forwards, they can hang with anybody. They showed you that. You got Ty Baribo, Gaza, and Ua starting this game off. It's all for the better. And then, like I mentioned, you get Sullivan, and then you quickly make a sub for Sam. They can really stretch the field. And then, like I said, it's all about trying to slow down the opposing defense. Now, look a little forward, going against, Miami. Listen, we all know about Miami. We all know how dangerous Luis Suarez and Messier is. I mean, they put up 61 goals. I mean, Miami alone put up 61 goals combined. I mean, they are a juggernaut of the offense. However, clean sheets, they are not so hot in. So, yes, you can score on Miami. It can be done. If this offense, and now listen, I'm putting on the shades. I am on cloud nine with Philadelphia sports right now. So if the Philadelphia Union could do it, if they could get hot, and I think that this team can. This team is going to face their biggest challenge yet to date. If I want Messier there, and I want Mr. Suarez there. If they can get in there and scrap with those guys, go toe for toe. We got the goaltender in hand. We just could get our offense to step up. You get the Uwas. You get, Daniel Gozlak to find it back at night. We know what he can do on penalty kicks. We should all be putting our sunshades on and living for the moment right now. I think this team can get it done. And listen, you and I talked prior to coming on air. And it's okay if they lose. I think one loss is not going to affect this team. You got 7 games left, 3 home games left. You're better on the road. So who knows? This team could do, go down there and rock their world. Now, listen, am I going to be mad if they lose? No. It depends how they lose. If they get waffled, then I probably, if they didn't look like they didn't show up, then yeah, I'll be pretty mad. You could be pretty mad like Columbus last night. Like, how unprepared was that team last night? They lose their goaltender. He gets a red card, and you have pretty much open shots because they had no keeper in there. And Seattle goes in there and handles business last night, winning 4-0.
Crazy.
And then, like I said, a lot of playoff implications last night, especially, I couldn't believe, I was, hoping for the upset of Chicago would take care of DC, but that doesn't happen.
Can never trust Chicago.
Right now, I'll find myself rooting for the Devil. I can't believe I'm going to be rooting for a New York team to go down to DC and handle business. But, however, it only makes the primetime game in 2 weeks for Philly and DC that much more sweeter, that much more eye-opening. So I can't wait for that one. But, Steve, you know what? Let's take a quick commercial break. We'll get back into it. We'll take some more look. We'll get your thoughts as well when the boys head down to South Beach. So, guys, let us take a quick commercial break, and we'll get right back into the swing of things with our man, David Archeri.
If you get hurt at work, in a motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or affected by criminal law, you call David Archeri of the Cherry Firm. Cherry Law Firm is here to fight for you and get what you deserve. Cherry Injury Law is a dedicated, well-established personal injury law firm built on the promise of aiding the seriously injured throughout the state of Pennsylvania. If you have been seriously injured in the state of PA by the negligence of another, and if you have questions for a Westchester or media personal injury attorney, please don't hesitate to call. Call 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let David Archeri fight for your right. And again, that number is 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com.
All right, guys, we are back. We are live. Steve, I'm feeling optimistic about this team going down to South Beach and handling business. Where you at? Are you on the Matty B level, or are you putting on the shades? And no, you're not that confident.
Yeah, no, I'm only putting on shades because of it being in my down in South Beach. That's the only reason why I would be putting them on. This is the game, though, that if they lose, this is that loss on the schedule from here on out that you can kind of put into pencil in ahead of, So the good part is Messi might not be there. He hasn't played since, mid-July when he got injured during Copa America, but the club hasn't really skipped a beat. Luis Suarez, he's second in, or tied for second in goals. You have Gressel, who is tied for, I think, fourth in assists. Messi, he's tied for third place, and he hasn't played since mid-July. So their production from what they get from the veterans and the internationals, some would call gods of soccer, with the Busquets, the Suarezes, the Messi, what you learn from just practice. It's like what we said, months ago about Zemla and Rick. What they could just learn from Blake in practice is why you saw some flash of moments from those guys. Well, the rest of the supporting cast of Miami is so damn good, and it's why you get frustrated, and it all comes back to the Union with why doesn't management go get depth for games like this and all that. But regardless, we're here. You're going to have good performances. It's got to be everyone's A game. It's got to be Kai Wagner's A game. It's got to be Danley, his first MLS experience of playing versus Miami, right? He's got to not let the moment get to him. Gazdag can't go invisible in those moments. We talked about it before. He has to be that X factor. Ty has to continue scoring goals. You can't come out and expect Andre Blake to keep this 2-0, 1-0 sort of deal and not get any production offensively. It's like the Phillies, Wheeler Nola can go out and pitch these great games, but you get no run production, right? So it's the same thing with the Union. Blake can be there to protect you and keep it close, but one or two are going to get by him with the talent that Miami has. So offensively, the mindset for Curtin has to be offense. Trust your defense. They've been playing well. They know how to play defense without the formation being lined to just go out and go get a counter goal or go get a chance on the counter. You got to come out with the same mindset they had against Columbus. Even though they lost 1-0, they had opportunities. So you got to come out and attack them and bring your style of play to Miami.
You're absolutely right. And to me, this is the big bull in the schoolyard that you have to get your first punch in on. Because if you don't, they're going to beat the brakes out of you. What I mean? They're going to have you hanging by your underwear by the flagpole. So again, you talked about Luis Suarez. Again, leads that team in production, 16 goals, 5 assists. I mean, this dude is a playmaker. He's a beast. Like you said, just because Messier went down because of an injury, it doesn't matter because that guy said, "Here, give me the keys. I'll take the car and I'm going to go drive it to where it's at now." And again, and you heard him as he said, "I don't want to rest anybody, even though we clinch a playoff spot. I do not want to rest anybody. I want to keep on driving." So his goal is, hey, listen, just because Philadelphia's coming down here, we plan on taking care of business. We plan on walloping that team. But like I said, the Philadelphia Union do have a plus here. They are a better road team. They are a home team. So again, I'm just hoping like the South Beach, in a distraction, doesn't get play an effect of this team. So I'm just hoping they can stay level-headed. We're here to do a business. We're here to do a job. We know if we get through this team, we could possibly have a playoff spot sitting at the palm of our hands. I mean, because that's what lies. I mean, the last 2 playoff spots are very much alive for all 5 of these teams. Us, Toronto, DC, Montreal. I mean, Atlanta. I mean, there is so many. There's.
You put a nice accent on Montreal there. That was really nice. That was good.
I do my little finish. I was cracking up over here. Some little Montreal.
Yeah, that was good.
Program, but you can say Montreal.
I can't say program, but I can say Montreal. So, but anyway, though, listen, Yeah, but the Philadelphia Union do have, like I said, they got to control their own destiny. And if you go, like I said, go down South Beach, you handle business. And like you said, we need playmakers. We're going to need everyone to step up offensively, defensively. How's this team shut down? How does this team shut down, that offense, because they're going to give something, Philadelphia may never seen before. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be nuts come game time. And I think the Philadelphia Union can get it done. I know people think I might be, thinking I'm nuts for saying that, but I think this team can handle business. Like I said, if you get that first goal in, you might, you can do some things. You could wake up that whole system. And listen, there's not, and I know a lot of people, me included, have gotten on Jim Curtin's case through the course of this season. Again, look what he's been dealt with. You know what I mean? Yeah. Look, he's still parts are becoming in and out. He hasn't really had a plan A. He's only had to go to plan B. He wasn't expected to lose his star goaltender for months, but now he's got him back. He's got some pieces back. The team's fully healthy. There's no red card assumptions to this team. No one's ejected. So when this team's at 100, they're going to give you 100. They're going to give this Miami this bet. And I think once they can do that, it's downhill for the Philadelphia Union. It's downhill. You got a DC team that's kind of catching fire, but you get to hang with the best of the best. I think you get some stuff done here. Quickly, let's take a look at some of these comments coming in. Where is Al? Frankie says, and he's also saying, I knew that studio looked familiar, laughing out loud. So, again, it's all about, to me, like you said, Uwa being your X factor. Someone other than Ty Brew can lean on. The only thing I do not like, and look, if they get penalty shots, and I love Blake, but he does come up short in those penalty kicks and stuff like that. But that's something you have to keep your eye on. But other than that, I mean, he's been a playmaker since he's been back. Like you said, he hasn't really give up like three goals. So that you have that going for you. So it's all about the offense to me, and how well are they willing to execute. And Jim Curtin is that guy to come up with some creative plays. The longest tenured head coach in Philadelphia sports. So he knows how to get this job done. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup. Can the Philadelphia Union go down South Beach against the best team in the league and take care of business? That's the big question. So, how do you feel though? Are you feeling a win? Am I talking you on the ledge of coming onto the win side, or are you on the Matty B? I'm not going to put my Homer Sun shades on like I am right now. Or are you just
you kind of made me start thinking about some things, because now you put the shades on, it's up against the camera, I can see myself and everything, and in the shades and stuff. So who didn't. Miami doesn't have any idea of what Danley's going to bring to the table, right? Because it was Martinez who was there the last 2 seasons that we've been dealing with this messy circus, right? And now you also add Ty Baribo. He didn't play in any of those matches. At least he didn't start. He might have came in subbed later on, but his impact wasn't felt the way it's going to be felt on the 14th. And one of the things I really liked about Danley was his timely passes. A lot of his through balls that he's leading, Uwa and Sullivan, they're when the defender's back is turned. So his passes are timely and like articulated to find the defenders in shitty situations where it's like, whoa, the ball going by them while Sullivan and Uwa are full speed ahead, right? So running down the sides. So that's something that Miami isn't going to be used to when it comes to playing Philadelphia this time. Because Martinez, he was big on, he had a great deep ball. His volley and everything was great, to where Danley has a different style of play. And then Ty Baribo, he has a much different style of play against than Carranza did. Carranza, I feel like, also let the moment of playing against the Argentina god, who to him of Messi, you know, you're not going to have that. Yeah, exactly. So
he fell in love because he was on the same playing field as Messier. You know, and look, for most athletes, you know, we look at NBA, for most guys now, it's being on the same basketball floor as LeBron, or you know, before he retired last year, a lot of guys staying on the same football field as Tom Brady. But yeah, he got starstruck last year. You know, he got, you know, being on the same playing field as, you know, Messier. So look, it hit him as like, hey, you know, it's standing, you know, hey, look, this is somebody I looked up my whole childhood, and it came back to haunt him. But like you just mentioned about Ty Baribo, I don't think he's going to have that same input. Imagine if he puts up a hattie against against Miami.
Everyone's saying playoffs then. Everyone's saying playoffs.
I don't know how you not put him in for a Philadelphia MVP at that point. If he puts up a hat trick, with just say Messier is there. And you know, because that's, you know, that's our mantra here in Philadelphia. We want the team at their best. We don't want them at their weakest. We want them at, you know, because we don't want to hear the excuse factor. So if you catch Miami with Messi on the playing field and Ty Baribo comes out of nowhere, puts up a hattie, then you'll be saying to yourself, who is Julian Carranza? Who is he?
Yeah, I think some people are already doing that.
Yeah, he's answered the bell. Like, it's amazing. Like I said, like I put up in the one tweet, he tore up the whole summer for this team. You know, he's a major. You know, we all know about the Blake story, but offensively, he answered the bell. And he's come through. So, but and like, you know, I had those interviews, you know, with Kazdag, and again, he says with Blake being back there, the offense feels comfortable. Like, we don't have to, you know, sweat bullets, or we don't have to overstress plays, or not come, you know, going to make, you know, do something dumb. They're going to sit there and now, you know, they come up with their plays and execute plays and all that stuff. And just like, you know, you mentioned about Uwa. Look at Uwa's last game. I mean, if you go back and you look at the tape, Uwa was finding open holes and executing there and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, with this team. This will be the measuring stick of the Philadelphia Union, and see where they are, and maybe for next year's too. So if they take, it depends if they, like I said, if they take the L, I think everyone kind of expected it. But if they win, you know, then like you said, and then like I said, you handle that. You could go up to New York, handle them. You've always had New York's number. You had DC's number as well in the past history. Even though, like I said, they've gotten really hot at the right time. You know, other than that, I mean, Orlando you can handle. Atlanta you can handle.
Yep.
You know, to me, I think it comes down to the last two games of the year against going through Ohio. You have to go.
Those have to be wins or draws. Have to be wins or draws.
Like I said, the draws would have to determine what the other teams surround those last two playoff spots do.
Yeah,
it would have to determine that. You know, so but listen, let's take a quick commercial break. Steve, after this we'll go around the league and find out what else, other teams did and all that stuff, and how it affected the Philadelphia Union moving forward. And we'll look at next week's matchups as well, because I think there's like 10 of the 14 matchups that have playoff scenarios in it. So we'll take a look at that. So guys, stay tuned. We're going to get, like I said, a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with Philly Sports Trips.
If you're a Philly sports fan and you want to travel with your favorite team, then travel with the best. If you want to travel with the pros, then go to phillysportstrips.com. Philly Sports Trips features premium travel and tailgating experiences for the best fans, ever, the Philadelphia sports fan. Philly Sports Trips has self-travel packages and full travel packages available with round-trip flights for Phillies, Eagles, Flyers, Sixers, and even the Union. They even offer day trips for more local games. Go to phillysportstrips.com, sign up immediately, and tell them EOP sent you. Do not forget, Philly Sports Trips has all the away trips for the Eagles' upcoming 2024 season, including the Brazil trip week 1. Jump on it now before you lose out on all these great opportunities. Go to phillysportstrips.com and don't miss the next great Philly sports moment.
Well, listen, we are back. We are live. So, Steve, let's go around the horn. Let's go to yesterday and last night. What were some of the, again, we kind of mentioned before, Columbus, just not being prepared. You're having one of your goaltenders on international play. You don't have a backup. You didn't plan on having a backup. Then again, you weren't planning on having your goaltender get ejected. And for that, you paid the piper by leaving an open net, and the Seattle just took full liberties and winning 4-0. No playoff implications. It could have affected the Philadelphia Union, but St. Louis kind of getting hot right now as they try. They're fighting for their lives, trying to get into the playoffs. New York Red Bulls, they're going, missing one of their best strikers, and now they settle for a draw themselves. DC, like I said, we kind of mentioned, putting themselves on the map by getting that win over Chicago, and then now they've reached that one, last playoff spot. And then, of course, how about it? Houston giving LAFC some problems. The LAFC cannot figure out how to beat Houston. They sell for a draw. Then Dallas sells a draw with Vancouver. But next, so what's some of your takeaways, Steve, before we jump into next week's schedule?
Well, your Sounders, Angry Ant, your Sounders really came out and put a beat down on Columbus. So I know you were happy. But New England, dude, they sucked all season. And it's like now they're winning or they're getting points in almost every single match, it feels like. And it's another team that the Union have to be worried about sneaking up and possibly getting that last playoff spot. But real light week in MLS with, I feel like there was a lot of call-ups for players going to play for their countries. But the LAFC and Houston, that being a scoreless match, that one shocked me. And I would have loved, you can never trust Chicago, man. You can never rely on Chicago to help you with that.
You can rely on them beating us, but you can't anything else outside of that. No. No, but this is now back-to-back weeks at a home and home for Houston and LAFC.
Mm-hmm.
Houston's kind of gotten their number. Even though, like I said, yesterday still draw, but the week before that, I think that they had like a 2-0 win over LAFC. I thought this would have been like the revenge tour, but no.
Yeah.
But however, let's look at next week's schedule. I mean, this to me
is it rivalry week? Is next week rivalry week at all? Do you know?
I think so.
It has to be with some of these matchups.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, you got the Battle of Ohio going on between Cincinnati and Columbus. Then you have Nashville, Atlanta, Nashville. Nashville stinks. I don't know what happened to that team. On paper, that looks like a decent team, but man, you want to talk about falling off the wagon. Oh my Lord, they stunk it off.
They have all-stars on that team,
yeah.
And it's I'm sure their fan base is feeling like how we feel, about the Union. They have to. Same boat. Then of course, like I said, I'm gonna be rooting for a devil. NYSC take on DC, and of course, if you're a Philadelphia Union fan, you have to root for New York. As much as it pains you and grabs you by the, it twists your leg hair, but you have to root for them to take care of DC because we want DC to kind of slow down their momentum. And man, like I said, but however, like them playing good soccer, it only makes that. Like I looked at that Sunday night, game between the Philadelphia Union and DC. It's going to be live on Fox, prime time, and all that stuff. I looked at it to be like, oh, why is this game on Fox? But now with them getting hot and fighting for that playoff spot, it's only going to make that game much more intriguing. Yep, huge.
Of course, you got Philadelphia taking on Miami. We broke that down every which way possible. You got Montreal, as Alex may call it, versus take on Charlotte. I think, again, I kind of have to root for Charlotte to come through, go up there and take care of business, which I think they will. Montreal's been on a rough patch. But like I said, if they turn it around, and this is the game they turn around, they can, like I said, their schedule looks kind of light and easy for them. They have Orlando and New England. I think Orlando handles the schedule. I mean, it can handle them. And then you have Steve, I'll go to you. What do you think about Toronto and Texas?
I like Toronto. They're just the better of the two teams. But both teams going into this one are becoming off of L's. So I feel like Toronto, where they're at in the standings, they feel a little bit more comfortable, and where compared to where Austin is. So it's all these games are going to come down to where teams are at in the playoffs. I feel like the last kind of 4 matches, you're going to get these guys full strength, and it's going to be like a fight to the final stretch, right, of a marathon. You're going to be in the last stretch, and you're going to have like 6 people lined up ready to go to get to that finish line. But I think Toronto is one of those teams, and that they're going to take care of business.
Well, I'm hoping, believe it or not, I mean, like I said, if Toronto wins, clean, that puts them pretty much holding that 8th seed rather. They can lock that down. But however, if Austin wins, they need it, because if they do, that gets them 37 points, and they can get themselves in that 9th seed. So they need this win just as bad. So it's, again, which dog is going to come out with the bigger bite on this one? That's going to be an interesting matchup right there.
Good East-West too. Good East-West matchup.
I mean, again, if you guys, again, this is the reason why, if you're watching the show, lock up to MLS package, because you get all these games. So that's going to be interesting. You have the Red Bull take on Chicago. Red Bull should win.
Don't trust Chicago.
No, but I don't trust Red Bulls either. Not at this point. Not when they don't.
Not the way they're playing.
That's right. You have another huge game for Houston, again, taking on Salt Lake City. That should be a good game. Minnesota taking on St. Louis. Minnesota needs that win, but again, St. Louis getting themselves that draw at 28 points. If again, they're going to need, if they want to see they're going to have to live and fight to see another day. They win, they can get themselves closer to a playoff spot. Another good matchup to watch in the West, Colorado and Portland. Really good game right there. Who do you got in that one, Steve?
I like Colorado. I like what the Rapids did. I mean, I saw them firsthand in the 3rd place matchup in Leagues Cup. What they're able to do, and Portland, they're a great team too. Both teams are in the hunt, but I just think Colorado's sitting in 4th place in the West. They're just a better squad.
Yeah, Colorado's pretty good. So, and of course you got the Battle of LA. LA Galaxy taking on LAFC. I think Galaxy needs this win. I mean, after taking an embarrassing loss to St. Louis last week, kind of, again, revenge tour they'll be on. And, of course, of all these great games, the primetime game on Sunday is going to – or no, Saturday night, rather. It's going to be Vancouver and St. Louis. I could care less about that game. Or San Jose. San Jose, it shouldn't be belonging in the MLS. And then you got my squad finishing out the week. Seattle taking on Kansas City. Kansas City would need, again, a fighting prayer. If they lose this one, they're out. So, again, season's coming down to an end. Like I said, 10, 11 games are really intriguing. So, guys, before we let you go, we're going to get final predictions for Saturday night's matchup. But in the meantime, let's go to Sherry Ticketown.
Great moments don't just happen, they happen with you in the crowd. Sherry'sTickets.com is easy to use and has no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. Pay less, play more with Sherry'sTickets.com and get the tickets you want. Save even more by using the exclusive promo code EOP10 and share an experience that will live on. Don't pay hidden fees and save 10%. Why use any other ticket reseller and get those hard-to-come-by tickets to the big game? If you need a more personal touch, give them a call at 610-494-5050. Sherry'sTickets.com also has great theater and concert tickets that are hard to get your hands on. Remember, don't overpay with the rest and save with the best at Sherry'sTickets.com. For that next great moment, save 10% by using the promo code EOP10. Great moments start at Sherry'sTickets.com.
Well, yes, Steve. He says, best thing I ever heard on this podcast. I could care less about that game. Epic. Well, Steve, I mean, listen, we keep it real here. The EOP family, we keep it real. How we feel, we talk from our heart. So, some careless game like San Jose shouldn't be on the map. JD Walker, good morning, folks. I'm thinking Miami 3 and Union 1 next week. NYFC, they may be able to get some points from that. Yeah. So he's thinking 3-1 win Miami. What do you got? Where are you going, Steve?
All right, I'll go first. I think you talked me into
yes
a little bit better, right? Yeah. So the Shades. I don't see a win, but both teams coming off a bye week. Give me a 2-2 draw. Goals from Ua and Baribo. I think the supporting cast of McGlynn, having Sam Adeniran in there now in the fold, and Danley. This is a different squad that Miami has seen in the past. 2-2 draw. You talked me into at least a draw.
All right. Well, listen, I'm hoping to change your mind. Thanks, JD, for checking into the program. I'm going to change your mind right about now. I got the shades on. Listen, the flip-flopper's back on the right side of the tracks. We had the Birds win. The Phillies been red hot. I'm going to stay on it. I'm going to lay on it and live on that island. I think the Philadelphia Union go down to South Beach, rocking the shades, go down there, handle business. I think you're going to have a 3-1 win Union over the LAFs, over Miami. So there, have that. So, all right,
promo.
Yes, I am. I am all about the about the Philadelphia Union right now. I'm on that train.
Nacho Man, Randy Savage. You look like Nacho Man, Randy Savage.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me tell you something. Oh yeah. Let me get in there.
Oh man.
Listen, the Philadelphia Union. Oh, yeah. I'm feeling it, brother. I am. I'm excited. I'm pumped up, and all the Philadelphia. Like I said, guys, go on my page. I did put up, like I said, the Twitter question of the day. Do the Philadelphia Union make the run? I have it. So let's go. But anyway, guys, thank you for joining the show, Steve. Steve, where can the guys find you at?
On Twitter X at SoldierSteve247. On EOP for all the articles, and just I can't wait for the final stretch of this season.
Yes, same here. Let's go. I think the Philadelphia Union win. Like I said, 3-1 Philadelphia Union. Guys, catch me, Pat from Hamler on X. Stay tuned, because in about 15 minutes, I'm going to get my blood pressure sky high, because no matter how hype and how happy I am, my counterpart will always bring me down, always want to have a fight with me. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Frank. But anyway, guys, stay tuned. PM and the AM up next at 9 o'clock at the top of the hour. Steve, catch you next week, my man.
Next week.
See ya.